Hello, everybody, and happy Wednesday. Welcome into another edition of the Recruiting Rundown. I am Kendall Smith, joined alongside of Wes Mitchell. Wes, we're back for another rundown. We've got a lot to share today, but first off, how have you been doing recently?
I'm good. I was trying to figure out if we were doing a rundown or a roundup.
I think we switched it.
I think we go back and forth. But I'm good for a rundown or a roundup, Kendall.
Either way, we're going to get it done. We're going to get all of our viewers, all of our audience, all of the information they need to know in the world of recruiting for South Carolina football. We've got to start it off talking about a big name in the transfer portal right now. Corey Rucker from Arkansas State just finished up his visit actually this morning here at South Carolina. So, Wes, what's the word on the visit? How did he like the Gamecocks?
Yeah, I'm hoping that by the time people watch this, we maybe even have a little bit more on Rucker on GamecockCentral.com. But the early indications, Kendall, are that it went great. He's been posting on social about all the love he's been receiving at South Carolina. This is a kid that when you look at kind of South Carolina's final needs for this class, it really fits perfectly. We've been telling people for a long time they might want to take another wide receiver. Lo and behold, he hits the portal. Just a highly productive, very athletic playmaker. It's a bit of a battle. You got Ole Miss involved. He's from Mississippi. You got Auburn involved. So obviously a little bit of an SEC battle going here. But I think coming off the visit, the Gamecocks are in good shape. Obviously, we know if he keeps taking some trips, that could always change. But it's a good story to sell with Spencer Rattler being at South Carolina. The visit went extremely well by all indications. And again, I'm hoping later on Wednesday we'll have a little bit more direct feedback from Corey Rucker himself. But yeah, so far so good with his recruitment.
I always like looking at their social media pages after the visits have happened. And something that Corey Rucker wrote on his Instagram was, it's hard to match these feelings. And I was reading up about his visit to Auburn over the weekend, and he was like, it was pretty good and it went pretty smooth. And I don't know, maybe it's just me reading into it a little bit too much, but just based off of what I'm seeing from his social media and based off what he told reporters about his visit to Auburn, it looks like he's a little bit more jazzed about what happened at South Carolina. Of course, I don't know that for a fact, but saying it's hard to match these feelings versus it was pretty good, I think maybe shows a little bit of a difference there. What do you think?
Yeah, and these a lot of times, not to lump them all together, Kendall, but these transfer portal kids really just seem to be blown away when they visit South Carolina. Carolina is hitting on a very high rate as far as signing the guys that officially to the school out of the portal. And I think a lot of times it's just because these guys already know exactly what they're looking for. They're not looking for kind of the BS that comes along with recruiting. They just want to be told straight up, here's what's available to you. Here's how you would fit in. And here's how quickly you can maybe move up the depth chart. I think for South Carolina, he's probably looking and seeing, here's a chance to play with a guy like Spencer Rattler. Here's a chance to play right away. SEC ball, obviously, with Auburn and Ole Miss being involved, it seems like the kid likes the idea of the SEC in general. So it just tends to fit well for South Carolina as long as they can get these guys on campus. And obviously that happened, and the early feedback has been great. So I'm with you. I think the big thing, can Ole Miss, being a Mississippi kid, can Ole Miss make a move? Can they counter what South Carolina did this week? I think will be the biggest factor to keep an eye on. But yeah, like you said, I think if you're South Carolina, when he hopped on that plane this morning, you were feeling pretty and ended up at South Carolina.
Yeah, and Lane Kiffin hitting that transfer portal hard. Like I said a few weeks ago, it's going to be the Lane train or the Shane train, in my opinion. We'll have to see which one Corey Rucker decides to go with. We will keep you updated on GamecockCentral.com. Wes, switching gears to a visit that happened over the weekend with a highly rated running back in the class of 2023. He is out of North Cobb High School in Georgia. Benjamin Hall was here at South Carolina. So what have you heard about that visit?
Yeah, great visit for Benjamin Hall. This is a kid that I really feel like Kendall has emerged as one of South Carolina's top running back targets. They were able to get in on him early, were the first major offer for him way back in November. They got him back on campus over the weekend. He's pretty much set an official visit now. He told me June 10th is when he's going to take his official to South Carolina. That's kind of the next step in the process for him. He's taken some other trips. This has been a busy month for him. He's going to continue to take trips into April. So, he's obviously at that point where he's comparing the visits, comparing how things have gone at the various schools. But the relationship here with Montario Hardesty, South Carolina's running backs coach, is in a really good place from what I've been told. And I just feel like South Carolina getting in on him early, building the early relationship has gone a long way. This is the only official visit that I know of that he's sort of set up. So that tends to bode well for his school. So I think South Carolina just got an early leg up in this race for the kid, and everybody else has been playing catch up for a long time. So Alabama has been sniffing around. He's going to visit there. They have not offered yet. Any running back, if Alabama offers, that goes a long way. So that's the other thing I'm kind of keeping my eye on with him. But I think right now, among the current offers, South Carolina just seems to be in the best position.
So as we've got to talk about that welcome home tweet that was sent out by Shane Beamer this past weekend. Do you have any insight as to what that tweet might have been about or who that welcome home could be?
Yeah, and we'll stick with our usual at Gamecock Central of letting the kid have his announcement, have his moment. And in this day and age, it's really, in my opinion, it's not official until the kid says it. There has to be a tweet for it to count, in my opinion. So South Carolina still, there's two silents out there right now for South Carolina. They're still waiting on this one. There's no set timetable right now. At this point, I don't know if it's going to be necessarily that soon, what I've been told, but I will say this, class of 2023 prospect, as Beamer revealed in his tweet, and actually a guy I think Gamecock fans will be very excited about once they start digging into him, when they see the ranking, when they see the offers. I think they're going to be extremely happy with this pickup.
Keeping everybody on the edge of their seat. Again, we'll plug it. Go to GamecockCentral.com. We'll have you updated with more as we get more on this situation. Wes, finishing off the show with just a general question. I know South Carolina has had quite a few visitors over the last few days. So throw out a couple of names of some of those guys who have been here on campus in Columbia.
Yeah, Beamer spoke about this on Tuesday. Very excited about the number of guys they've had on campus so far. You can go all the way back to really day one of spring practice. Last Tuesday, Josiah Thompson is actually On3's top prospect in the state of South Carolina for class 2024. He's from Dillon. He was on campus that day. Then on Tuesday, South Carolina had Cam Pringle, who is the recruiting industry's #1 recruit for class 2024 in the state of South Carolina. He's On3's #2 recruit in the state of South Carolina. So basically the top 2 recruits for that class in-state have already been on campus. You look at Jaden Bradford, who's a kid that's a highly recruited quarterback, originally from Chapin, but now is at IMG. 4-star guy. He would have been in the running for the top guy in the state of South Carolina for that class if he had stayed. So really your top 3 guys from the state for that class, or 3 of the top guys have all been on campus. You look at this past class, or this current class, I guess I should say, Montague Rames from Sumter, 4-star defensive end. Xavier McLeod, in-state 4-star guy. Vic Burley is an out-of-state 4-star guy from Georgia. Again, Ben Hall was on campus. I mean, there's a huge list of guys. We'll run out of time to list them all, but it's been a good start. You look, it's only been basically 4 practices so far in the spring. And so in the last week or so, South Carolina constantly getting these guys on campus. They'll make a big push to get guys in for the spring game as well. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. And it's all about consistency. Can you consistently get the guys dropping by your campus, being around your coaches, building that comfort level? And that's what South Carolina is doing right now, really for class of 2023, but getting a head start on that class of 2024 as well.
I'm hearing a lot of in-state players, and that's a good thing. Hitting South Carolina, hitting the Palmetto State hard on the recruiting trail. Wes, thank you so much for your insight on today's edition of the Recruiting Rundown. Certainly a lot going on. We had a dead period for a little while, just about a month ago, and now things starting to ramp back up as spring practice takes off, and the spring game is just a couple of weeks away. As always, we will keep you updated on GamecockCentral.com. Be sure to follow us on all of our social medias at Gamecock Central. Subscribe here to our YouTube channel, and we will see you guys in the next edition. Thanks for joining us.